there, welcome back to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly and I'm excited you're here tonight for another 2-page layout using small leftover bits from an 8-card card kit, reimagining those ingredients. So here is the layout that I made this last weekend using the Nested Essentials dies and the City Sites card kit called That's All Right, and it's using squares from the card bases and added cardstock to document a trip to Memphis, Tennessee. Now before that, I used the card kit contents and the Nested Essentials dies to create these banners and these elongated hexagons out of those same card bases and even the envelopes in the kit to create this 2-page layout documenting a trip to St. Louis, Missouri. Now we're going to continue on with the City Sites card kit and eke out yet another 2-page layout with the leftovers. So here's what's left over in the original 8-card kit. We have some wash card bases and envelopes. Those are the envelopes. So we have a blue wash and a tan wash. We have some whole card bases left and some partial card bases left. Now if you want to see all the ingredients in this original card kit and what we started with, all of the kit contents, check out my first video and I'll link it in the description here, as well as video number 2, this last weekend's video. So we have some die cut pieces left, some sentiment pieces left, a little bit of copper bling left, and of course a stamp block and a stamp set came right in that kit. So here are my long-term girlfriends. 40 to 45 years we've been friends, and we take an annual girl trip every year, and we are goofy. So you can see us in the airport, all of us wearing goofy cat eye glasses and being super silly and immature for 50-somethings. And our rules of our trips are good food, back to nature, something educational, and on a budget. And that's our rules for our trip every year. So this is a trip to Savannah, Georgia. I'm going to use 2 12 by 12 black bases and 2 11 by 11 Smoky Slate pieces that are going to go on the top. Now I have 3 3x4 vertical photos here that you can see of our yummy southern food in Savannah, out to dinner. And then I also have a 4x6 horizontal and 2 3x3 photos. So I want to be able to get to document some of the great food that we had and some of the silliness that we had. And yes, I'm one of those annoying moms where your kids always say, "Mother, quit taking pictures of your food." But it's so delicious and so fun, and I love doing that. So I am envisioning layering small bits, and I mean layering. I mean, we're using the Nested Essential dies, and so why not take the banner? We've used the elongated hexagons, we've used the rounded squares and the banners a little bit, but we are going to go full on banner. And I'm envisioning some banners going up and down on the left side, some banners going across the bottom, and cutting some banners out of the card bases, out of the envelopes, and out of added cardstock. So I was hoping to get one of each size banner out of each of the bases, the back side of the base and the front side of the base. And that way I would have some of the gray cardstock, some of the gray card bases, and some of the tan card bases, and it would be a nice variety, one of each size of those banners. And then to do the same thing, one of each size banner out of the envelopes. And we're going to have some extra pieces left over, but I'm going to give you a hint. I actually stop at 6 pages. I think getting 6 scrapbook pages out of an 8-card kit is phenomenal, but I will say if you want to go forward, there was still plenty left. You could have definitely eked out a 4th 2-page layout. And if you do that, if you make these 3 and have fun with those and you decide to make more, please share. Go out on one of my social media sites, on my public Facebook business page, my Instagram, my wherever you can find me, and show me what you've done. I would love to see. So you can see I'm just arranging. I want to use up the top of the envelope base and have some left over, because at this point in the video, video, I don't know if I'm going to try to go forward. I feel like with the pieces I had left over, I could have gone forward with another 2-page layout and made it 8 pages instead of 8 cards. But I felt like I sort of pushed the stamp and the dies, the die cuts and things that came in the kit as far as I wanted to. So you can see such a huge variety here of all of those banners that I've created. I'm actually going to do the same thing. I'm going to create 2 each of each banner out of the coordinating cardstock. So I want to create some out of the copper clay cardstock, the Boho Blue cardstock, black cardstock, and Pebbled Path cardstock. So this photo here is bothering me because of the pink plate. And I literally have hundreds of food shots. And so, not hundreds, I exaggerate, but I have probably 10 food shots. So I decide just to make the flow of the photos go better, I changed out that food photo to one that lent itself more toward the copper clay colors, the blue colors, and the brown colors in the banners. So I have actually 2 of each size banner of each of those cardstocks that I mentioned. And what I'm going to do is divide everything out equally. So I'm going to have 1 of each size of each color on each left and right, and then I'm going to have 1 of each of the patterns from the card bases and 1 of each of the envelope patterns, the gray and the tan. And we're just going to go to town layering. I mean, all the heavy lifting is just going to be in the fussing around with the layering. And this is such a go-to layout that you can do when all you have is little bits. So keeping in mind that there are no pieces in a card kit, in these particular card kits from the kits collection, the City Sites kit, that are bigger than 5.5, because the card bases are 5.5, right? And so we're going to be able to create pages out of the smaller bits that are within this kit and stretch the elements of that, stretch the theme of that, and stretch the colors of that. So I'm sorting these out. Now on my base photos, I did make I made photo mats. So I have Boho Blue photo mats on the 3 3x4 verticals, and it is 1/4 of an inch. So 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 on all 3 of those, and then black under that, 3 1/2 by 4 1/2. Of course, on the 4x6, I did a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 Boho Blue and a 4 1/2 by 6 1/2 black. Then I added the copper clay because I actually didn't have any of the, I'm sorry, I keep saying Boho Blue. That is Misty Moonlight under the 3x4s and the 4x6. Then the copper clay is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and on the copper clay of each of the 2 3x3s, and then of course a base, a black base that is 3 1/4. Now I've actually stamped the with the Pebbled Path. You have a spot block, so you can use your spot block, or I used my large Pebbled Path ink, and I stamped full strength onto some French vanilla cardstock, or if you wanted to use very vanilla from Stampin' Up. And I'm fussy cutting around that, just kind of using the claw of my scissors, rotating my paper piece around the claw of the scissors and leaving a tiny little cream colored edge, and it's going to be perfect. And I'm envisioning layering this in the corner with some 1st and 2nd generation stamping underneath that. So I did 1 of those in the lighter gray, 1 of those in the French vanilla, and then I'm going to stamp 1st and 2nd generation under that to make some dimension and some added elements of interest in addition to the banners. So it's going to be all about layering and layering and layering the banners. So I talked before, because the previous 2 layouts using the City Sites kit, I documented 2 other girl trips. So we take an annual girl trip every year, and we have so much fun. We're silly and we're goofy, and it just kind of takes us back to our childhood, because we're busy being mothers and grandmothers, and we all have our careers and our jobs, and it's the one time a year when we can just do whatever we want to do, wherever we want to go. And in the early years, we did cheaper vacations where we drove, we did state parks, And then in the later years, of course, when our budgets allowed, we actually took trips where we fly and we stay a little longer. So they started as like a weekend, and then they went to a 3-day weekend, and then they went to a 4-day weekend, and then they went to 5 days. And we've even done one where it's closer to a week, and we've had a blast. So what I've done is I've pressed the stamp pad, the Pebbled Path stamp pad, into my all-purpose mat, added a little bit of water to make a little bit of a paint wash, and sprinkled a little bit of that with a watercolor brush to just make some interesting splatters in the background. There's going to be a lot of that Smoky Slate that's going to be showing because the banners are going to be up high. I am going to put a title of some shape or form on the left page, a linear title, but on the right page as a filler and as some added interest, I want to create a cityscape. So we had, although Savannah has a rural feel, we toured a lot of plantations, and wow, the history and the in-your-face history of, even some of the slavery and the issues of the plantations and all of the greenery and the historic churches and so much to do in Savannah, not to mention the Southern food, but it does have a city vibe with more of a hometown feel, if that makes sense. Southern hospitality. So I've cut apart one of the cityscapes, and I'm going to find a way to sort of layer that. So I've used some thin 3D foam tape and then some thicker 3D foam tape, and then I'm actually going to put some that's directly flush over the top. So I've stamped one cityscape full strength Pebbled Path, and then I stamped again second generation, and then I'm layering these bits that I stamped and fussy cut separately over the top, and it ends up being one of my favorite elements of this page, just having that 3D cityscape in the corner there. So it's not such a huge focus, but I'm documenting a city trip. It's a city for me, and we had so much fun with the southern charm of Savannah, Georgia. We've literally taken, most of our trips are back to nature. We've done Arizona, we've done Yellowstone, we've done Colorado, Montana, of course, South Dakota. We've done Wisconsin and the Apple Fest, and we've done Seattle and Bainbridge Island, and we've done Maine. We've done, oh my goodness gracious, let's see, Grand Canyon. I just can't think of all of them off the top of my head. Memphis, we did Memphis. We went to where the big bopper died in the Iowa cornfields, where the plane crashed. We have done a lot, and we've had so much fun. And some of my favorite trips are when we were road tripping and just being goofy and laughing in the car about nothing. Oh, the years of just remembering what it was like to be free and just to be silly. And of course, our trips have changed from, the early years to now, where we have like 7 pairs of reading glasses in the cup holders, and where we have our bathroom stops and our Beano. But that's the beauty of it, and just the changes over the years, and that longevity of friendship, that you don't have to really even do anything. Like, sometimes I think at different times in our years of taking our trips, we just needed a break, and we were happy resting, just having some respite, doing a few little nature things, and having some good food and great visits. And so less is more. And so some trips, it seems like we do many touristy things, and some trips we just want to relax. We want to go out to a nice dinner and have an early night. We've had some fun adventures, though. When we went to Maine, there was a little local dive when we went to Maine. We had so much fun in Maine. We went on a lobster catch and hundreds and hundreds of year-old yachts and sailing, and we did so much. We ate so much great seafood, but there was a local club there that had an 80s night. And so we packed our 80s outfits, and if you were dressed 80s, you got in for free. And it was like a dance. And of course, all of us girls just dance together like goofy girls, and we're not embarrassed. It's just fun. No one will ever see us again. We just really enjoy it. And that was, we laughed and laughed. We made big hair, and, like 50 years later, making big hair. And we just had so much fun getting dressed up and being goofy. And so as you can see here, I have been layering the entire time that I'm chattering. So I started my base layer with the largest banners, a base layer flush, then toggling a few of those large banners in the middle of those base layers on the cracks, I call that, then the middle size, and then the next smaller size, and then the smallest size. And it's all about what you want to show through. I really wanted a lot of the patterns to be balanced, like offset with patterns and then the wash color and then the cardstock color. And all I'm really doing is fussing with these and making sure that I don't have too many light colors over light colors, that I have a nice balance of color. And it's so pleasing to the eye. Like when you're using the coordinating colors in a kit and you use the base pieces of a kit, even in this case, if they're card bases instead of actual pattern paper, they go together so well. The cityscape cards that make such cute cards have so many different colors in the cityscape. It has the copper clay in there. It has the Pebbled Path. It has Misty Moonlight. It has Boho Blue, and it has Basic Beige. It has all of the colors mixed in. So any banners that you use to coordinate absolutely work perfect. Now, the only banners that I used foam tape on are the tiniest ones on top. And I did use foam tape on those, but look at the layered dimension and how easy is that? Take all your scraps, make as many banners as you want, and this would be a great layout for even leftover pieces of kits that didn't originally coordinate with each other, but that you could tie into the colors of your photo. And so all of us girls, our girl trips are usually almost always fall, late fall or in the fall. So it's always sweater weather. So we have some blues and some browns and some blacks in the sweaters, and definitely in the food, those colors as well. And then I thought it was amazing. One of the restaurants, the background art in the Savannah restaurant is all copper clay. And then the wood floor is copper clay. So it's so funny how without even trying, you can find ways to coordinate photos. Even the hollandaise sauce on the, or the gravy or whatever it was on our southern dish is almost a copper clay color. So it worked out absolutely perfect. I'm super pleased with, I really pulled out the City Sites kit to actually just give it a try. Like all the kits, I grabbed a few of the kits that were speaking to me, and I thought I just want to try these so that my customers know what they're about and how they work. Being new to Stampin' Up, I know Stampin' Up demonstrators do incredible things with these kits. Like I am just absolutely blown, and I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator, but I mean original Stampin' Up demonstrators that have been demonstrators for a long time. They are pros. I mean, you should check out some videos. Just type in kits or paper pumpkin kits. And these kits are from the kits collection. So if you go to the shop site, and I'll link all of these materials and supplies in here, but if you go to the shop site and just type in kits, you will see, or go to the heading of kits, you will see all of these all-encompass kits, and you can just pull those out, have all the ingredients to make the original instructions with the 8 cards of this particular kit. Each kit does a little something different. It might be 8 cards or 12 cards, or it might be some specialty pop-up cards, or it might be, they have a variety of kits that you can choose from. And I just wanted to try it out and test out the waters and be the guinea pig for my customers and see, because primarily my customer group is scrapbookers, because that's what I am. I'm 90+% scrapbooking, but I do love a good card, and I love to do cards for my bonus kits because then it satisfies a little bit of both. And I do love the cards in the City Sites kit, but I am loving stretching it to 3 2-page layouts. So we have 6-page scrapbooking kit here out of an 8-card kit, and more left over. If you want to eke out more, I'd love for you to show me what you do. So now I'm just taking some of those added bits and Excuse me. Now there are these banners here that have the sentiments on them. So I'm just going to snip off the little piece that says today. I did that on one of the other layouts, and I don't think it matters at all that you have this little sentiment piece that says today. I'm also going to cut off one of the sentiment circles that says happy. And I think I could use that happy as a little tab up at the top. And then we have some of the corrugated pieces that came right in the kit that I could dovetail little pieces to offset on the side of happy. And I love that. I think we could turn over one of the sentiment circles that is in the other language. So in these kits, because we are a global company, there are other sentiments in other languages. So you don't need to use those on your pages, but you could actually turn those over and use the backside circle for something else. So I think I will incorporate the backside of a circle. We've got tons of banners. We've got sharp edges. We've got squares. I think I can use one of the circle die cuts as an embellishment bit as well. But right now, just finishing up the banners. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, the layered look of all of those banners. And some people might think it's an excessive amount of banners, so of course you can use way less, but I loved it. I loved incorporating every single color and every single size and every single pattern and layering those and giving this so much depth. It's gorgeous. So I'm dovetailing. If you've never dovetailed, cut up in the middle of a piece about 1/2 inch and then cut in from the sides, and it makes a perfect dovetailed banner every time. So I'm just cutting the corrugated cardstock piece, dovetailing the banners, adding those to the top next to happy, and I'll probably add a little bit of bling there. Now in one of my earlier videos, I cut a 3-inch circle out of a pattern, thinking that I would love that as a background. I didn't end up using it on the previous layout because I used a French vanilla back so that I could journal inside, but I think it's going to go perfect with this. But I think we could layer fussy cut cityscape behind it, so stamped in Pebbled Path and fussy cut out, and then layer the die cut, the city die cut that comes right in the kit over the top. Now in a previous video, we stamped with the background stamp on the top of that round circle die cut piece. I think we can add the corrugated rectangle over the top, and then I think we can turn one of those sentiment pieces that is in another language over on the white side and then use it for journaling. I think it's super simple to repurpose some of these bits. So I'm just actually moving around some of those smaller banners that we're going to get covered up. Now, I've added a Cricut title, Friends, Food, and Fun. I've taken that ampersand, and I think that I can put the ampersand on the circle, which is the back of the sentiment piece, and we can add a couple more pieces of the corrugated cardstock. Now that corrugated cardstock piece is quite long, so you can get all 4 banners out of one piece of that corrugated cardstock. But now I have stamped in full strength Pebbled Path, the cityscape on the back of that circle, popped it up with foam tape, and really made a more interesting element in how to pull that together with the ampersand. Now, you can use stamped letters. You can use Stampin' Up. Both Stampin' Up and Close to My Heart have die cut letters, alpha letters. You can use ephemera titles. You could use acrylic shapes that were left over. If you have any leftover alphabet die cuts or word die cuts, you can literally create your title out of anything you wish. So one of the titles from this series I created out of acrylic shapes. One of the titles out of this series I created out of dies. And then this title I created out of Cricut cuts, just to show a difference. Just be creative and find your title any way that you can. Now I'm adding the copper gems that come right in the kit to a variety of places to finish it off, and I'm getting happy. I'm happy with 6 pages out of an 8 card kit. I feel like we were thrifty. I feel like those Nested Essentials dies are a staple for me. They're a great investment set, and we were able to use the heck out of them in all three layouts and add all the great bits that we needed to make beautiful scrapbooking pages. 3 travel scrapbooking layouts out of 1 8-card kit. So my St. Louis trip now, my Memphis trip, and my Savannah, Georgia trip, a wonderful 2-page layout out of each to document 45 years of friendship with my friends. Thank you so much for watching this series where I created these 6 layouts out of a card kit. I hope you love them. Let me know what you thought about reimagining these card kits, and if you do that yourself. Be sure to stay tuned right here for many more creative endeavors on Snips by Kelly. Thanks so much for watching and shooting me a comment and hitting subscribe and the notifications bell. It sure goes a long way on YouTube. Thanks so much for your support. Bye-bye.